All right, it is Monday. We are back for another Monday. Good evening, my sister. Good evening to all of
Good
you
evening.
who will tune in tonight. This is the Woman to Woman show on the New You Nation Network. We are excited to be before you once again on this Monday evening, and we will begin by doing what we do every Monday evening before we start, which is introducing ourselves and saying what we are grateful for. So, Sheila, I'll let you go.
Okay. My name is Sheila Isom. I am an insurance claims professional and I am also an independent stylist for Color Street. I sell and promote nail strips, which is an ingenious product, and I'd love to tell you some more about it at some other time. But on top of that, I am also a notary.
Nice.
So today, I am grateful for the breath of fresh air. You
Nice.
know, the season is changing now. You finally are starting to feel the difference in the weather. And when I walked out of work today, it was just like having the ability to actually smell the air. And it just seemed so fresh. Now, probably tomorrow, my allergies are going to laugh at me. But, just to have a breath of fresh air was just what I needed today.
Oh, nice, nice. So, wow, my name is Theodora Carter. I am a human resources professional, but I also run a coaching business, and I am also an HR consultant. And so I am passionate about helping women, other women, live the life they desire and deserve to live. And I am grateful for Sheila being here tonight and Miss Trey Kearney, who just came in.
Hey, Trey.
And Trey, we were just introducing ourselves and saying what we are grateful for.
Oh, okay. I'm Trey Kearney. I am a certified life and relationship coach. And I am grateful that Jesus died on the cross for me and rose with all power on the third day so that I could be here. And I'm making it personal for myself. I thank him for every situation and circumstance that he got me out of, that I got my foolish self into. Because by the grace of God, I am sitting here today and I'm just blessed and highly favored that I know that I am here on purpose for a purpose, because trust and believe he really, really, really sacrificed his life for my sins. And I'm grateful for that.
Woo!
Amen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
come on now. Yeah, so listen, this is gonna be good tonight because I think the topic actually probably aligns with everything that Trey just said, because we're talking about what it means to cultivate your life, right? And I really truly do believe that the resurrection, right?
Yes, Lord.
The
Yes.
resurrection ties into the choices that we make and how we cultivate life and live life. And so, Sheila, when you hear me say that, right? Like, this is something we talked about today. Like, what's the topic? And you said cultivate, right? Was in your head. What about cultivate was floating around in your head?
Well, today's daily scripture came from John 10th chapter, 11th verse. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep, right? Which gets back to Trey's introduction.
Mm-hmm.
He laid down his life for us, right? For us to be here.
Yes.
And one of the stories that came along with today's scripture was to cultivate a rhythm of reflection,
Mm.
right? So the word cultivate just stuck out in my mind today, because then it just made me think in this spirit and time of resurrection that we're talking about. What is it that we are cultivating, that we are growing, that we are enriching and maturing in our lives today that puts us in line with he who has risen?
Mm.
Out of line
And,
or out
That too.
of line, because a
That
lot
too.
of people are not in alignment with where they should be. And we know we don't want to make it all churchy, but if you know us, you know we believers, and it's been a wonderful weekend for us. So to speak on cultivate, and when I looked in the chat and saw Sheila's post was talking about cultivate. Other words for cultivate is uh, plant, prepare, breed, fertilize, manage. So we have to ask ourselves, talking back from last week,
Hmm.
how are we handling our lives? What are we cultivating, right? Because our words have power. And that was actually on my prayer call this morning. It was powerful. But anyway, I don't know. I guess we're going to have church tonight, but
exactly.
that's what it is. But the things that in our life, the words that we speak,
Yeah.
right? The words that we speak are the seed, and the thoughts that we have are the seeds. The words that we speak are the fertilizer. And the
Mm.
action that we have is the managing of the seed, right? And if we're planting the wrong thing, then we're cultivating it. And when you cultivate, something's going to grow.
Yeah.
Something's going to grow. And you got to be real mindful of what you're growing, because the brother this morning, the pastor this morning was talking about, watch your mouth. Like, that was the word this morning. He was like, watch your mouth, because you're the one speaking these things against your life. You're the one cultivating the things that you want to have in your life. What are you growing? Like, are you growing seeds of discord? If you waking up every morning talking about I can't, then you won't.
Mm-hmm.
You say I can't, then you won't. If you say I can, then you will, because nothing on this earth from hell or high water will be able to stop you. So this is so good that we're talking about what our words are cultivating, because the main thing that we have
Mm-hmm.
as human beings who fall short of the mark is
Hmm.
this thing right here.
Yeah.
Life and death. Woo! And we be doing a lot of damage with our own mouth, on our kids, on our spouses if we have them, on our jobs, on our homes, on our finances. We be cultivating stuff like fertilizing, preparing damnation, like bad stuff.
And if you think about it, right? Another story, right, in the Bible. So I guess we are gonna have church tonight, right?
Yes.
Is when you plant, right? Remember the story when God gave each person
Yes.
plant,
Hmm.
and the
Yes.
one that didn't plant, because
Yep.
he was like, I'm gonna hold on to it, right?
Mm.
So he
Uh-oh.
didn't cultivate anything,
Oh, come on.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Woo.
And it's the same thing, right? Like we could walk around and we could think about for days the things we're gonna do, and we could think about planting something, but if you plant it and you walk away,
Mm.
there's no action tied to it. You don't go back to water it, you don't go back to check on it, you don't make sure it gets some sunlight, you just leave it there, right?
Yep.
What happens to it?
It died.
It
Nothing. It doesn't
Nothing.
even have a chance to grow.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Ooh.
And listen, cultivating also means pruning too,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to you got to cut out what's dead,
Oh,
right? Sometimes you got to trim it in order for it to grow.
yep.
Mm-hmm.
So there are so many different parts to it. It's more than just the good stuff,
That's
right?
it.
We know that the feeding and the watering is the good stuff, but nobody likes to do the pruning. And
Right.
the pruning is inevitable. It's a whole part of it that cannot be dismissed.
Yes. And
Yeah.
and again, pruning, and it's just a powerful word to deal with in your life, because so many of us are complaining about where we are from the harvest that we produced,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we complaining about this ain't right in my life, and that ain't right in my life, and everything that's happening in your life is not by chance, it's by choice. So you chose. If you are in a toxic relationship right now, we're going to talk to some of the ladies tonight. If you are in a toxic relationship right now, you've been in that space for years and years and years, you have to understand, when the seed was planted, instead of you digging up the roots, you stayed, and as you stayed and watered that thing,
Hmm.
as long as you're in a toxic relationship, you're watering that thing with something, with words, with actions, with deed, because you're with a person and you know that you're not supposed to be with them. Like Sheila said with the pruning, I have plants, lots of plants. I love my plants. And my mother told me, because my mother was a plant woman, she said, you have to pluck off the dead leaves because they're still sucking the life out of the root and the soil. When you water that thing, that dead leaf that you did not detach is still sucking from the good leaves.
Yep.
So if you're in a toxic relationship, you're actually cultivating that relationship by staying and not pruning the person who no longer belongs in your life. They are sucking you dry, sucking your blessing dry. Everything that comes to you that you've been praying for, that seed that you've been planting and you've been cultivating, that good thing, if you're next to a weed, come on, Jesus. I'm
And
about
and
to
you and
be
you
next to
and
a
you just
weed.
leave the weeds, right? And they just keep getting bigger and
If
bigger
you're next to
and
a
bigger.
weed, that
Yep.
weed is
Yep.
going to strangle you. If you are
Yep.
laying next to a weed, and we're going to talk about this tonight because I'm about to run around this living room. If you laying next to a weed, if you got weeds in your garden, before you know it, you go out there and everything is dead and all you have is weeds. Because like Sheila said, you did not do the cultivating part of pruning what did not belong. You got to, even though them daisies look pretty, you know, them little yellow dandelion, yellow cup,
Mhm.
them things is weeds. No matter how, remember when we was little, we used to put it under our chin to see if it put the little yellow buttercup under there. Them things are nothing but weeds. And we have to realize when there is a weed in the garden of our life, and we got must prune that weed, as cute as it is, as cute as he
That's
is,
it. Yep. Yep.
as
Yep.
good
Yep.
as his muscles is, as good as he smell, it's a weed.
As nice as that six pack look,
It's a weed.
It's a weed. It's a weed.
And it's killing you. And you wondering why you're dying a slow death. You wonder why you're unhappy because you so busy working on this thing over here that's draining you. And we not only talk about a man, there's some women that shouldn't be in your life, some
mhm,
friends that shouldn't be in your life, and some family members that you should be loving from a distance. But you're cultivating and working on that toxic relationship, planting, preparing, fertilizing, managing a relationship you shouldn't even be managing. That
Yep.
and,
I
and and let's talk. And it's the relationships, it's the professional relationship,
Oh, uh-oh, we gonna talk about jobs tonight?
it's the staying in that space that you drag yourself into every day, right?
Yes.
And you
Mm-hmm.
give all your energy and your time and your focus, right? And you're giving so much focus to that thing that you're not over here cultivating
Yo thing.
the thing you're supposed
Okay.
to be cultivating, right?
Yo thing.
Whether that's your own business,
Uh,
whether that's taking care of your hubby, whether that's taking care of your family, right?
yep. Yeah. That, come on, because that was good stuff right there, Theo. You so busy building, and we say this all the time. While you building somebody else's, but you making somebody else rich. Like you they got you there cultivating their business. You doing the pruning, you doing the watering, you sending out the emails. While your business over here is nothing but a dying seed because you ain't paying attention to what you really supposed to be paying attention to.
Mm-hmm.
Because that thing over there is a bright and shiny object, and we could talk about jobs, we could talk about material things. We could talk about relationships. Some stuff is a pretty weed. Oh,
Mhm.
pretty weed. Come on. Can we not be sucked up by
Because
pretty
some
weed?
people don't recognize a weed from a flower.
Oh my God.
And see, and that gets back to because you can't turn around and just all of a sudden decide that you want to plant a garden, that you want to be a farmer, that you want to be a horticulturalist without doing the investigation, right?
Oh,
Without doing the education. Because if you don't know that, if you don't take the process, the steps to learn, then you'll never know what a weed is versus a plant or
wow.
a flower.
Wow.
You'll never know that there's some plants that you flowers that you can't put together.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Oh my God.
You'll never know that that shrub that you are planting roots grow deep and will come up out of the ground and disrupt everything else around it.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Right?
But
Woo.
but you know when you say that, right? So the definition, right? So I looked up the definition, right? Although I know what cultivate means, right? And exactly what you just said, Sheila. It says it's about self-understanding and self-awareness.
Yes.
It's about embracing ourselves with our flaws and weaknesses,
Mm.
embracing the unknown and the pain,
Mm.
asking what we could have done differently or better.
Wow. Wow. And we got to just, one of the things that we have to be mindful of, if we look at ourselves as a plant and we're cultivating something because we want it to grow,
Mm-hmm.
we have to be mindful of what that thing requires, right? And like
Mm.
Sheila said, if we don't do the work, right, if we don't go and do some self-discovery on one, what it is that we need, right? Two, on who it is that should be in our space and who else is coming to help cultivate the garden of your life. So just in
Yeah.
case the people who are coming in right now, we're not talking about plants. We're talking about actually using that as an analogy of the plant of our life. I'm a
Mm-hmm.
flower. Sheila's a flower. Theo is a flower. And in our space right now, we are constantly cultivating who we are as women, as people. And sometimes we are not growing because we are amongst a bunch of weeds, right? We got girlfriends who ain't doing nothing. We got a man that's just laying around, and we keep watering these people constantly when we are supposed to be watering ourselves, growing and learning and making sure that the soil where we are is good. Are you on fertile ground, right? Like we were talking about the Bible a little bit earlier. If you throw a seed on concrete, it the sun gonna come and dry that seed up and it ain't gonna produce anything. So you have to know the environments that you're in your life right now. And again, so many of us are complaining about where we are in life and what is happening to us. But when the environment is no longer productive to you or there's no more room for you to grow, you have to make a conscious decision, again, as a plant analogy, that my roots is too big for this pot. And if I
Mm-hmm.
replant myself in a place where I can grow and spread. If you're not growing, I hate to say this, you're dying.
Mm.
And we got to realize that in life, we are the captain of our ship, right?
Yes.
We are responsible for where we are and who we allow in our space.
Mm-hmm.
We're quick to blame people for the lack of our growth because we allow them to put whatever they want into us, right? So you can't give a plant soda.
Woo.
I promise you, if I pour some soda in this plant right now, tomorrow or the next, in a few days, it's gonna be dead. Cause you can't give a plant soda, and everybody don't know what you need.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Everybody ain't supposed to be watering you,
Yeah.
and
Woo. Woo.
Say that again.
everybody ain't supposed to be watering you because they ain't equipped, right? They don't even have the right formula for you. But one thing I'm gonna say about who we allow to water us is because we are so afraid of being alone,
Mm.
right? And sometimes, just sometimes, ladies, it is your job to water yourself. We so busy looking for somebody to
Yep.
pour into us, somebody to till the soil, somebody to cut the prune when
Mm.
we need to be taking care of ourselves. And that's where that self-awareness and that self-care comes in. I am so big in my life right now on having discernment and being okay.
Mm-hmm.
One, I don't cut people off, I let them go. And two, really, really guarding my space and accepting people for who they are and placing them in a proper place in my garden of life.
Mm-hmm.
You can't, weeds can't be nowhere near me. No, no, I promise you, I'm allergic to weeds because I can see a weed from a mile away. I'm like, wait a minute, why is this person, with the weeds, negative thought, the weeds, the self doubt, the weeds are always criticizing you. The weeds who don't believe in what you say when you say, "Oh, I'm starting a network."
Mm-hmm.
How you gonna do that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Who you think you are? You think
Right.
you're Oprah Winfrey or something?
Weeds. So we got to be
Exactly.
careful of the weeds that are around us, and we have to keep them outside of our yard.
Mm-hmm.
You could be out, and if we all keep them out of our yard, they'll grow somewhere, but it won't be with us. And it is our responsibility to pluck the weed up when we see it. No, girl, Go on about your business. That's a weed plucking. Oh no, I don't be gossiping on the phone. I don't talk like that. No, I'm good. I'm good on that.
But you also have to know when it's time to replant,
Yes.
right? When the flower, right, when the pot is too small,
Yes.
Right, right.
you're growing,
Yes.
right? So you have to know when to expand
Oh.
your territory,
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? You have to know when to expand your goals. You have to know
Wow.
when to reevaluate where you're at in life, right? So you can move to that next level.
Wow. Wow. Whoa. And some of us we just in the wrong environment. And I had this one plant, right? And I had to change. I put new soil, but it was the wrong soil because it started collecting fungus. So I had to replant it again because I didn't have the right soil. So we got to be okay with replanting more than once.
Hmm. All right. So, Regina, good evening.
Hey, good evening. Good
Hey,
evening.
Regina.
Hey, y'all. Hey, Trey.
Hey.
How you
All
been,
right.
Sheila?
So,
Hey, Theo.
hey. So
What we
for
talking
everyone that just tuned in, this is the Woman to Woman show on the New U Nation Network. We are talking about cultivating your life and, you know, what that means. And so, Regina, we were just talking. We were. If you just came in, right? If you just coming in and people just joining, might think we're just talking about plants, right? But we are using that as an analogy,
Right,
right?
right.
And so we're just talking about what it means to be cultivating your life and the things in your life.
So I was really digging the conversation because, as I was quietly waiting, I was thinking, I wish I had someone, about maybe 20 plus years ago to really sit down and talk about the importance of self care,
Mm.
the importance of when you think you need that person or someone in your space to fill it, you
Mm,
know. And instead, what you need to do is to replenish. Maybe you need a spiritual break from stuff that sometimes we feel like, oh, we're by ourselves, but we're used to being with someone, or we need someone next to us. So what we do is we accept something that's not the best thing for us, but because it fills a void and it checks off some of the boxes for the right now, we accept it. And like that plant, you allowed that plant to come into your garden and put their roots in your soil
Ooh,
when they weren't good roots.
to
And so
begin with.
now what happens is they all entangled up in there. And now because you picked the wrong seed to plant, now you got to do the digging. You got to dig it out of your pot. You got to dig it out because the roots are in there now. They entrenched in there, right? That could be a friend that you thought was a good friend, but you was looking at them like, how come it's always me doing the giving, and it's not
mhm,
reciprocity. It could
Yeah,
be
yep.
it could be a relationship where you're saying, okay, I'm your cheerleader. I'm always asking you how was your day, but I don't get that back. Around days that means something, I'm giving it to you, but you barely giving it back. Ask you how's dinner, you say it's alright, but when you cook something, I'm like, baby, that is so good. So
whether it is
now,
or not.
whether it is or not, right?
Right, right.
So now we gotta ask ourselves, okay, at what point, like that plant that was getting too big, at what point do we say we need to uproot this and we need to start fresh?
Mm-hmm.
Because if anyone knows about cultivation, you're not supposed to. If you got a plot of land, what they used to do is they used to leave one plot open so it could cultivate and get its nutrients back. So that wouldn't be bothered for like 3 to 7 years. The other two would be used. So you would do it in cycles. What happens is we don't give ourselves a chance to take a break. We either
Mm,
hopping from
Girl.
one situation to the next situation because we don't want to deal with ourselves, to be in our own
mm,
company. Allow, if you're a believer, allow God to fill you, because not being fresh, but if you try to get fulfillment in a carnal way, that only lasts for so long anyway. And then when that's done, you looking at this person like,
Uh-huh.
why? And now, the thrill is gone, and you trying to figure out how to get them gone, but they roots done got up in your dirt.
Got up into an
They
entanglement.
done
yeah, exactly.
entangled. Okay, play, you play all day. You play. I'm trying not to be freaky. Why you acting like that right now? But
But but but
so when we talk about cultivating, to everything that y'all was saying, that I was like, oh my God, this is so juicy tonight. We need to tell it to our younger ladies coming up. We know people are going through stuff. If you are single, and I'm speaking from the heart. Look here. We talk about keeping it real. I'm gonna keep it all the way real. I know this is going to be a perpetuity, but I'm gonna keep it all the way real. When you're in your 20s and your 30s and you're going through something, if you're a single mom and you think you need to have that somebody in your life, please, y'all, hear what I'm saying. Make sure it's the right somebody.
Mm-hmm.
mm,
I'd rather cry a few tears for a lonely bed than to cry years worth of tears with the wrong bed partner.
mhm,
Girl, you
So
talking about, you speaking
you
it.
need to take time to get to know who you are and whose you are. Allow yourself to grow
Yes.
and understand who you are. So when you have that person come into your life, they can respect you on the level that you are. And they don't look at you like they doing you a favor.
Mm,
When you feeling empty and you feel like you need to be filled up and your pot doesn't have the, you wanna grab something and plant it, but you don't want to grab the wrong thing. Take time to fertilize your dirt. Take time to nurture yourself before you go out there getting the next one, because he said a few things that checked off a couple of boxes, but they don't check off what's the priority. What are they really up to? What are
right,
they really up to?
mm,
Who do
right,
they want to be in life? What has their track record been like?
mhm.
See, we don't want to ask those questions, because then when we start digging deep, the red flag that already went off in the first place gets louder. That
right,
that that bell gets louder.
right.
So
Come on.
ladies, I'm telling you from the heart, take time to love on yourself,
Just take
to
time to
to
grow.
grow,
T-
Right.
to
take
grow.
take
Take
time to
time to
grow.
grow.
Time to
Take
grow.
time to grow.
And another thing too is for all of us, not only the young ladies, but for all of us, we got to know exactly what is necessary in that season, right?
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's time to water the season. Sometimes it's your watering season. So
mhm,
you should be looking and being around people who are watering you, watering you, watering you, because you need the water. And a lot of times we're doing the wrong thing to ourselves, right? Like a plant. If you water a plant too much, it's going to die.
yeah,
If you
yep,
water it too much, it's going to die because it's not that plant does not need water. So in your
Right.
life, you need to know what seasons you're in. Do you need sunlight, right? Do you need to be repotted? Do you need water? Because if you are in the wrong season or you're doing the wrong thing in your life, it's going to lead to destruction.
Yeah.
It's not going to lead to growth.
mhm,
Because you could, this is one thing I'm gonna say about women's empowerment conferences. So many of us go and take in so much information. We go to 999 women empowerment conferences and we take in so much information, so many notes, so many notebooks, so much stuff on our laptop. And we never implement the stuff
Mm-hmm.
that we've learned. So, what good is it if you're constantly taking in information, right? What good is it if you're constantly watering the plant that does not need water? You don't need no more water, no more information. You need to take action. It
Action.
is not
Yes.
watering season time for you to give me. I'm going to this conference. I'm going here. You are overwatered and you're dying and you're overwhelmed with information. because it's now your harvest season. It's time for you now, your pruning season. Whatever, cut off the fat, cut off whatever information that you learned that you don't need. Go through all of them notes and get into the right season of what it is that you're supposed to be doing, because you don't need no more daggone water. You don't need no more information.
That's
But it's
it.
also, and it's looking at every area of your life, right? Like as Regina was talking, right? Like, you know, as Gina was talking about, right, getting to know yourself, right, and building that foundation, right? And you're with this other person because they're so deep into your roots, right? They're planted, right? But sometimes we're also stuck there because we haven't, in the other areas of our lives, done the work to have the resources that allow us to move.
Wow.
Right.
Whether that's moving out of a relationship, whether that's leaving a job, right? Because we so busy giving Tommy Hilfiger and Guess and Louis and all. I'm sorry, I'm stepping on somebody's toes, but I'm keeping it real, right?
Keep it real.
We are so busy spending our money in places where we shouldn't, that we're not investing it in ourselves. We're not saving it. We're not putting that rainy day fund, so that we're sitting here and we're looking at this plant that's laying by us, that we keep watering, that got us all entangled, that we can't get out of, because we like, damn, I need that income.
Right. Oh, I need that. Oh, because I need to buy. I keep spending my money on stuff that don't bring me no return on investment.
You better tell the truth and shame the devil.
In this entanglement at this job that I hate, that is not growing. Oh,
but I'm so tied to that bi-weekly or weekly deposit that they're putting in my bank. That's probably not even paying me what I'm worth.
Wow. To spend on shoes.
Right? And
to
now,
make yourself
like,
feel better.
I don't really want to be here, but I can't leave, because if I do, I'm one paycheck away from being out.
Wow. And I'm trying to impress folk with my shoes, my car, my pocketbook, my hair, my bundles, my eyelashes. I can't leave these roots that I'm in right now that ain't no good for me, because I'm really trying to impress the weeds that's all around me, because they ain't in no better situation than I'm in. And I'm trying to impress, what they call it, keeping up with the Joneses.
Keeping up with the Joneses.
But listen, the crazy thing about it is that in a minute the weeds are going to look better than you are, right? Because those weeds are going to be abundant, right? Woo! And some of them are going to start taking on your characteristics, right? And so whereas that little weed started out like this, now they done invited everybody to come in, right? And they're surrounding you. You're no longer growing, right? You are stuck. You're stagnant, right? Because those weeds are sucking every bit of nutrient and life out of you. So you're just there. But they coming in, they having a party at your expense. And they're saying, come on, keep on watering me. You are watering me.
Keep on lending me money that you don't have to lend me.
Keep on, right? Because
when we go out.
Because after a while, I'm going to get to the point where I don't need you, because me and my friends are getting ready to take over here. Whoa. And see, we've already dug in deep enough. So if you think that you're going to move over there, you're going to tell a relative or somebody to move over next door, we're already underground.
And when you try to get out, we're going to try to shame you and make you feel bad, because we're going to think you better than us. Why are you doing that? Oh, you think you too good now because you done started a network?
Oh.
Yeah. And all because you didn't invest in yourself. You were not a believer of your own growth.
Wait a minute, y'all. The weeds then took over your territory. How you let the weeds outgrow you because you wasn't paying attention? And to the people who just tuning in right now, we are really talking about being strategic about cultivating your life. Who you allow in your space, who you allow in your ears, who you allow to water you. What are you allowing people to speak over your life? This is so important. There are jealous people around you. Whoever need to hear this tonight, there are people who are in close proximity of you, and you invited them into your garden. You invite them in every day to take your resources. You invite them in every day to steal your sunshine. You dimming yourself down. There are jealous people all around you, and you have to be able to see. Oh, Lord, you got to
Mm.
be able to see, and you have to be able to act on it. And again, I know we've been around some people for 20, 30 years,
Mm-hmm.
but if they don't mean you no good, they don't
Gotta
mean
let
you
it
no
go.
good. I'm not saying that you don't have to ever speak to them again. I'm saying that sometimes there needs to be some distance being put between you, because once we are in relationships with people, like all of us have grown over the years. All of us, each and every one of us has grown in
Yes.
the area, whether we got a certificate, wrote a book, started two businesses, got a notary, whatever it was, we grew. So it's like this and like this. It's like this and like this. We're constantly growing. So you have to be alert and aware of the people that you surround yourself with. And sometimes it's going to be some people that's not growing. It's sometimes
Mm-hmm.
some people that is not cultivating themselves while you doing all the work on yourself. Those are the people that you have to move away from. One, and of course, in life, you can always circle back to check on them, or you could see from up here. Not that we looking down on anybody, but you can see when somebody is elevating and calling and saying, "Hey, girl, I just got my degree. Hey, girl, I just opened up this store. Hey, girl, I just stopped drinking. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
girl, I'm not
Right.
out working and partying no more." Because you are the company that you keep, and I'm sorry to tell you that. So birds of a feather flock together. So when you're in circles, don't let your
Like
circle
this.
become a cage.
Yeah.
Right.
Please don't let
So
your become a cage. And again, you have to watch the people around you. Are they growing or are they standing still? The ones who are growing, they are cultivating their life right. The
Mm.
ones who are staying still, they're not doing nothing for themselves. So
Mm-hmm.
trust me, misery loves company, and they don't want you to do nothing for you. And those are the jealousies, the seeds of jealousy, the seeds of
Mm-hmm.
resentment, the seeds of discord who want to bring you down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry,
so
I'm going on a tangent.
Go ahead,
no,
Gina.
no, no. I'm just listening, and I was thinking of So if I'm gonna take it back to the Bible, when we look at Jacob, when he went, if any, know the story, he was a twin, Esau. He
Mm.
got his father's blessing, but the way we read is that he stole it. He didn't really take the blessing. It was his in the first place, but that's another story. So he went. His mother sent him away. He said, go to my family spot. Don't stay here. Esau's going to be upset with you." Okay, he books and run. He fell in love with the one he really wanted to marry, the one he met at the well. But her father was like, "Oh, you wanna marry her? Okay. Oh, you good with your hands? You good in the field? You good? Your hands are blessed. You growing my herds? Oh, I got something for you." Tricked him. Now he tricked him. Married the older sister. He's like, "Wait, I did 7 years. I
Mm,
did what you asked me to do. You said I could marry her, but then you flipped on me. Then you gave me another 7 years because you said the oldest one had to get married first. Okay, fine.
Mm-hmm.
That happened. I did another 7 years. You said if I do another 7 years, I can marry the daughter that I really want. I wanted Raquel. I wanted Rachel. Let me have her. Okay. Oh, but now you got children. You
mm,
need to stay at least another 7 years because you got to be able to take care of your children. You
mm,
don't just got one children. Your first wife got four. Your second wife got two, and the second one, your third one, got another two. You can't leave now. Now you got to stay one more again. Another 6 7 years. Jacob was like, "Oh, wait a minute, wait now. I done gave you. I done blessed you. I done blessed the flock. The lambs is growing. Everybody, all this is flowing. I got a whole family now. I need to go." But father-in-law was like, no, I'm gonna find a way to get him to stay. Listen, when it's your time to go,
yeah,
and you determine in your mind that you are going to leave, the Lord will provide a way for you to
Mm.
yes,
go.
Yes.
And what wound up happening is Jacob took his family, he took his wives, he took the not even the best sheep, but he had a hand. Jacob's hand could grow things. He could grow whatever he touched, he grew. That's why his father-in-law didn't want him to leave, because
Mm,
he was fattening his lamb
Oh,
when Jacob
mm.
was supposed to go his way. So
wow.
he was obedient to his father. God, go. You take your family and go. And he said, all right, father-in-law, we're going to make it pack right here. I'm fit to go my way. You go back your way. And basically, I'm watching my back because I know how you get down.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
So
ooh,
I'm
I
taking
forgot.
me and mines this way because my father told me that we had to go this way. So I'm going to be obedient. When you are ready to be obedient to what your calling and your purpose is, this is no joke. It's not always going to be easy, but it is a promise for those who believe in Him that your Father in heaven will take care of you and make the way for you.
Mm,
And
Yes.
your gifts will make room for you.
yes.
That's not me. That's the word. You don't believe it, you can look at Jacob. I didn't make this up.
Mm,
This is in Exodus, y'all. I didn't make it up. Okay.
come
And,
on
and
now.
and so let me put it in practical terms for them.
Go ahead,
Yes.
break it down. Break it down. I'm just saying, for those who spiritual that
Right?
needed that,
Yep, the spiritual people got you.
you need to
Now,
connect with that. Now
right?
break it down. Thank you. Bring us
So
up to here.
let us put it in practical terms for you, right?
Go
Stop
ahead.
letting that person hold you back
Yeah.
because you're watering their garden and not watering your garden. When it's your time to go, you need to go because everybody can't go where God is taking you. So you
Yes.
gotta know when you gotta distance yourself from other people, right?
Yes.
You gotta know when it's time to be obedient to God, but also obedient to yourself. You
Yes.
gotta
Yes.
know when you gotta honor yourself
Yes.
by putting yourself first.
And listen, when they show you who they are the first time,
Believe them.
Believe them.
back to the father. Don't
Believe
be
them.
no sucker. Okay.
Right.
Put it in real layman's terms. I'm breaking it all the way down. Don't
Take it
be
all
no
the way down.
sucker because of the bright and shiny object that is floating in front of your face.
Mhm.
Because what's for you is
It's
for
for
you.
you.
And if you allow people to use you, that is on you because Jacob had a choice. We all have a choice. And we know that biblically, that is what he had to go through.
Mhm.
But God knew that he was going to get him out of here. But I'm saying for us, in a practical sense, when people start to make us promises, and you know that promise then went left, right, front, back, let me see you up and down, tootsie roll, round and round, and you still sticking
Mhm.
around, that is on you, not on father-in-law. That is on you, not on cousin, friend, brother, uncle, aunt. When people
Yeah.
show you, when people promise you something, and they give you a deadline on it, and the 7 years, and we're not talking about 7 years in real time, but when the 7 years is up, and they tell you you got to do 7 more,
Mhm.
and you don't save yourself and walk out the door, come on, Sheila.
Yeah.
That is on you. That is on you. You are stunting your own
Woo,
growth.
whoa.
You are not living your best authentic life,
Mm,
right? Because that's what it's all about. Because she just told a story about somebody who was living for someone else,
wow.
right? So you can't be of service to anybody. You can't find your purpose. You can't find your true being if you are too busy satisfying or cultivating somebody else's life.
Woo,
How many
somebody.
times do we hear that story about, baby, let me get through school,
Oh,
right? Baby, let me get my career started. Baby, that promotion is around the corner. Baby, I got the house because we got to keep up the appearances. So your job is to make sure that the house is taken care of or that the cars are always shiny. All right.
Ooh,
And then what happens? Now, all of your dreams have been put on hold because even along the way, while you were helping that baby, right,
mm,
you could have been watering your garden, right? You
yes,
could have been doing things to set yourself up for your own growth. But
yes.
then what happens? Now they're done, they're tired, they're
Mm.
good,
And they
and
go
you're,
on.
you're still 7 years behind, all by yourself now.
And they good and go on.
Right.
They good going.
Right.
Because you have
They
to
supposed to do
also
it.
be in a situation where you're serving one another. You're cultivating each other's garden,
Yes,
right?
Yes.
So
Right.
it's a mutual cultivation, right?
yes,
It's a give and a take.
Mm-hmm.
yes,
Right? It's a what do you need, babe? What can I do today to make your day easier?
yes.
Babe, what can I do today to make things easier for you?
Mm.
Right? Babe, how can I help you study for this? Or how can I help you move that? Right? It is a give and a take.
Right.
But when we come into relationships too, we are to be the best, highest version of ourselves at all time. We come into relationships to serve.
Mm-hmm.
Here lies the problem. When you are the best, highest version of yourself, and somebody's not the best, highest version of themselves, it is your job to understand that you can't make somebody be what they don't want to be.
Mm-hmm.
You come into a situation from a place of service and the other person is not operating from a place of service, you are unequally yoked, and that is at your job. If you come to your job with a service servant mind, right? Because when we go to work to serve God, right? We don't go to work to serve our boss. We go to work to serve God.
Mm-hmm.
That's
When
right.
you come into work with a servant mind to serve and do your best to be the best, highest version of yourself, and that boss or that manager or those people abuse you, that is not the space for you if they don't appreciate the best, highest version of you. And so many of us are in toxic environments, toxic situationships, toxic relationships because we are being the best that we can be. We come into a place of, I'm coming here to serve, right?
Right.
And when you serve on your job, it's not for free. So service ain't always free. Just
Mm-hmm.
understand. But you should have a mind where you're serving. And when it's not like Theo said, when it's not reciprocity, you can't make nobody be I feed you, you feed me, I water you, you water you. You have to see the fact that this person is not on the same page as me.
Right.
We are not equally yoked. This person does not believe what I believe, and we all don't have to agree on everything. But
Yep.
core values, right? Integrity. All of these things fall into play when it comes to me cultivating Theo's garden, Theo cultivating my garden. If Theo doesn't have the same mindset as me, not the same ideas, and not being the same person as me, but if
Mm-hmm.
we're not aligned, if we're not like-minded, Theo has to say, Trey ain't, nah, I see her when I see her, but she ain't really into cultivating gardens. She's a weed. And
Mm-hmm.
this is where we have to know when we are surrounded by weeds or if we are surrounded by other individual flowers who are in the process of growing on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis forever.
And
Yes.
this is and it's at the point where you have to begin to say, how can I be intentional about cultivating my garden?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because it ain't going you don't just wake up and your garden starts growing,
Right.
You got
right?
to work for it.
You
That's
gotta
right.
you gotta cultivate it. You have to shift your mindset. You have to believe that you can do it, that you can have it, that you deserve it, that you want it,
And
right?
you got to have a plan.
You have to plan for it. You have to take some action, right? You have to also, right, know who you are so that when people try to speak something into you that you're not, you could be like, right? You could brush that off because
Y'all brushing the dirt off y'all shoulder. I
Yes.
ain't somebody brush the dirt off their
Brush your
shoulder
shoulders
Yes.
off.
all the time.
people will try to speak stuff into you that you're not. People will try to make you feel ashamed or embarrassed or bad for what you're doing and what you're going after. You have to know who you are as you are cultivating your garden.
Yes.
And you have to allow the same flowers to be in there. Now, they may not be the same, right? Because someone that's a florist will know how to put together a bouquet.
Yes.
All the
Go
flowers
ahead.
that
I was
go
thinking
together,
it. You said it. Yes.
right? So you got to make sure that you have flowers that go together that help you grow.
Come on.
Say
right?
that.
I'm sorry. I said,
Because
come on.
everybody can't go where you're going.
Oh,
But you're going to have some people that may not be exactly like you, but they can contribute to who you are because they're like-minded. And when y'all all get together, you make a beautiful bouquet.
just listen to this though. I have sometimes you buy a plant, right? And it's all like cactuses, like cactus, jade, different plants that don't need a lot of water in the same pot.
Yeah.
But Theo's point is like-mindedness, right? And we using plants as an analogy tonight. If you just tuned in, we're not talking about real plants. We're talking about water in our lives and having people in our lives who are aligned and like-minded. If you put a cactus in with another plant that requires water, cactuses don't require no whole bunch of water. Now, if you put that cactus in that with that other plant that need water on a weekly basis, you are going to drown that cactus, and that cactus is going to be real squishy. You know why I know? Because I did it. I had a cactus that I killed.
I was gonna say I killed the cactus too.
It's two plants that I can't grow. It's cactus and jade. Because I be liking the water stuff too much. And I had this cactus, and I'm like, what's going on? Every week I'm watering, I'm looking at the cactus, and it's soft and mushy. And I'm like, well, what am I doing? And then I realized a cactus doesn't need water but once a month. So if you are around people and you put them in the wrong pot together, something or somebody's gonna die. If you put them in there with the weed is going to strangle everybody else. What they say, God sometimes got to cut off the cancer because it's going to spread.
Yep.
We got to be so mindful of who we allow in our garden of life, who we allow in our space, and why. What do they bring to the garden? We see flowers and plants. We see lavenders. They're beautiful, right? They're not choking anything. Roses, right? And it's like, what do you bring to the garden? And we're all flowers, each and every one of us, when we come on here each week with knowledge and wisdom of different experiences that we have. Now, if we had a woman that came on who wasn't like-minded and was on here with a filthy mouth, right? Lord, forgive me because a cuss word be popping out my mouth sometimes, but my girls don't be around me cussing and swearing. So I catch myself because I don't want them to be turned off by me. I don't want the flowers to think I'm a weed. So, excuse me, ladies, for what I just said. You know what I'm saying? Like, let the Pookie come out every now and again.
Every now and again.
But Pookaletta ain't here every week, every month. She come out. We got to come here really back in the after party. Like, girl, you know what? You good? Because you were a little raw and rugged last night or minutes ago. So, you just got to know your circle. You just got to know who's aligned with you, who's like-minded. And again, it goes back to those core values of knowing who you are and not compromising and wavering the content of your character.
And it's about being intentional. I mean, it really is. Like, I can't say it enough. Like, you can't just pop up and be like, I want this to happen.
Right.
There has to be some intention behind it.
Yes.
Like, you cultivate your life, right, by being intentional about the choices you make, the decisions you make, the growth that you put into whatever you're doing, right? Surrounding yourself. Let me tell you something. If I'm in a group and I'm the smartest person, I'm in the wrong group.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
I need somebody that's going to be smarter than me. Right? Because you always, you should always be learning. You should always be growing. You should be able to have a conversation with like-minded people, but also you need somebody in that group that's going to make you think, right? That's going to make you say, wait a minute.
Right.
I could go to the next level with this.
Yes.
Right? I don't have to stay here. Right? Because you need somebody that can say, Theo, why are you just doing that?
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
why
Mm-hmm.
just doing that?
You,
And we are all, each and every one of us is a subject matter expert in this group, right? We are subject
Yes.
matter expert on something. So
Right.
you should be in a room full of subject matter experts. Theo has her thing that she is an expert at that we could glean from her. Sheila has her thing that she is an expert at that we could glean from her. Gina has her thing that and I have my thing that I'm an expert at we could glean from each other. You see how
Yes.
Gina was able to pull out the Bible, and you
Mhm.
see how Theo said, let me break it down for you in the practical. Let me
Right.
just bring you back around here. You see how Sheila jumped in and said, you need to make sure that this part of your life, the stem, the leaves, the petals, you need to, like Sheila said, it's pruning season. So if we all have our place in each other's lives and we are really subject matter experts in something, we're all going to constantly grow. Like Theo said, if I'm the smartest person in the room in every area,
That's a
something's
problem.
wrong with my girls, because I need to come to Sheila for a notary. I need to come to Sheila for some nail stuff. I need to come to Sheila because Sheila is an expert in wine tasting. Come on. I need to come to Gina because Gina will pull out a scripture on you in a minute because she's been in study mode in the Bible. And I know that over the years from her saying, I can't come on tonight. I got my Bible class. Because we all grown in areas. I know that Theo done started 2 businesses at one time. At one time. At one time. So I know that as I need to step my game up because I'm around women who are not settling for being less.
Mm-hmm.
Women who are not settling for not going higher. I'm around women who are not at a standstill.
There you go.
Right.
Have no
Right.
time to be at a standstill. However, we have other Regina who talks about taking a rest. You know what I'm saying? A retreat from yourself. So you have to have people. Now we have Netta who talks about holistically healing and how you need to manage your body and the stuff that's in all this Pam spray that we spraying in our pans. So we have to make sure that we have the right group of people around us so that we can grow in every area of our life, like Theo talked about last week. Right? What did we talk about last week?
Listening to your life.
Life.
Are
What
you
areas are you lacking in?
Mhm.
And who's around you cultivating the seed and pour it into you, because maybe you can't hear your life because you got too many people picking and pruning and digging at your roots.
Right.
Are you listening to the wrong people?
Right.
Mm, 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 mm.
I will say this as we go. I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to leave it with the scripture. I started talking. Genesis chapter 1 is one of the best. If you want to know how to run your business, if you want to know how to get yourself refocused, take your time and read Genesis chapter 1. I say this because in the beginning,
Oh,
in the
Mm.
beginning, he had a plan from the beginning.
come on.
He did things in decency and in order. There was a strategy. There were no plants before he created the stars and the moon and the water. There was no moon and water before he created the heavens and the earth. He did everything in decency and in order. So when you feel like things are going out of whack, whether it's in your work relationship, whether it's something with your family, your business is going out of whack, pull out the Bible and read Genesis chapter 1. Look at how he did everything systematically. Look at how he paused. It was evening and it was day,
Mm.
and it was good. He didn't try to rush it. Our Father didn't create everything in a rush.
Yep. Yep.
He
Yep.
took time. He stood back, looked at what he did, checked the angle. It was good. I'm good for today. The next day he did that again. And guess what he did on day 7? After all of what he did was awesome and excellent, he said, I'm taking a break.
Yeah.
Yes.
This day I'm a rest. So
Mhm.
for all the doing that we try to run and do, you have got to take the time. If our Father that created heaven and earth and everything in us in it knew to take time to rest, we too, if we say, especially for those who say we believe, we need to follow his example. You have to take time out
Yes.
to refresh, to replenish, to think, to get downloads, to be in his presence, to get your center back, to decompress from all that you've gone through. You can't grow if you steady moving and don't know which way you're going.
Oh,
Mm, mm.
You have to look at doing stuff in decency and in order so
yes.
you can declutter. And Trey knows Dr. D Marsh, she set the standard consistently about doing things in decency and in order. I
Yes.
I got, like you said, information not being funny. It is not information unused. That information will forever be useful because it is the same to today,
Yes.
tomorrow, and
Yes.
always because it's consistent information and is biblically based on how to win in this life by following how God ordered our steps and how he created the heaven and the earth one day at a time.
Mm.
And he did it systematically. Man wasn't created first. We were last. You know why? Because he
Mhm.
set the stage. By the time we got there, everything was set.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Yep.
So
Yes.
just if you don't, if listen, I'm telling you from experience of going through some things and growing and still growing. And I pray that my last breath I'll be learning and growing. I pray that when I'm ready to go and God said it's your turn, your time is up, that I'll still be like, oh, I was just learning one more thing. This was wow, this was new today. Like we will always be learning and
Yep.
growing. But let's try to do stuff in decency and order. If something is out of whack at your work life, at your job, you need to pause and say what's going on here that's not right. What's not looking
Mm-hmm.
regular? What's out of whack? How do I get that in alignment? What do I need to do? Do I need to leave? Do I need to strategize to leave? Do I need to have a conversation? Do I need to pull back and get myself together? Because sometimes we think it's the people around us, but sometimes we get caught up in stuff that's
Yes.
not for us instead of doing what we're there to do.
Yes. Come on now.
So
Had a whole,
we need to check ourselves,
we didn't had a
Yeah.
unpack
whole
with
Bible
self.
study today.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
right?
so I'm gonna end by saying, right, also along that vein, right, don't get stuck in the wilderness for 40 years
Oh,
You
when
better
the
say it.
journey should have took you 11 days
oh.
because you're not being intentional,
Mm. Mm.
because you're not planning, because you're spending more time complaining than you are figuring out what you need to do to
Mm,
turn the situation around,
Mm.
yes.
right?
Wow.
So don't get stuck, right, in the journey of taking 40 years to get to where you're trying to get to because you didn't take the time to figure out what do I need to do in order to get here, right? Because this 11-day journey
Ain't
is
gonna
taking
take
me
you.
40 years.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. I'm telling you.
So
This is
so
good.
for me, it's about intention. It's
Yeah.
about it's about being intentional. It's about planning. It's about goal setting. It's about having direction, right?
Yes.
Because that's why I was able to start a business, two businesses, right, at the same time. That's why I was able to move from New Jersey to North Carolina in what? How many days did it take me? 60 days?
Yes. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's why,
Yes.
when I was like, okay, how am I gonna grow these businesses? I was able to say, you know what? I did this, I did this, I did that. I could leave this executive job with this executive money and go and take this individual contributor job with this individual contributor money because I set myself up to be able to still do the things that I need to be able to do so I
Mm.
can focus on the thing that I want to do
Right.
so I can get to where I want to go.
Mm. Come on now. We preaching tonight.
Yes, indeed.
Night. I just need. Go ahead, Sheila.
Well, I'm going to end it by saying it all starts with a seed,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
You plant that seed with the intention to grow. And it doesn't matter the size of the seed because we're going to take it home. We're going to leave it right there, right? Because we know all it takes is a seed the size of a mustard seed.
Yes.
That's it. That's it. It can start off that small. It's not going to happen overnight because, again, there's the process,
Yes.
right? Let it grow.
Yes. And I'm gonna piggyback off of Sheila and say just one little thing, and I'm done. Pay attention to what the seed needs.
Yes.
That's
Say
it.
that again.
Pay attention to what the seed needs. That's it.
That's it. And some of y'all, it's gonna take you a minute to get it. It's gonna take you a minute to get that. But when you get that message,
you're gonna be all right.
You're gonna be all right.
Right.
You're gonna be like, you're gonna wake up in the middle of the night and you're gonna be like, I got it.
Yes.
And so that's our time. We're a little over. This is the Women to Women show on the New You Nation Network, where we just have real conversation. We are women that are speaking from our experiences. And that's why we're experts.
Yes.
We're talking about our lives.
Yes.
Anything that we tell you is based on what we've lived, the experiences that we've gone through, and how we have used that information to become the women that we are still becoming.
Yes.
Yes.
So we're still cultivating our lives.
Yes.
And so we thank you for joining us. We thank you for being here. We'll be back next Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we will end the way we always end by saying truth plus transparency equals
healing.
Have a good night, all. Thank you for tuning in.
Good night, everyone. Good night, my sisters.
Good night.
Good night.